Welcome to the Siren Sanctum's weekly readings. This is our first one, so please forgive us if it's a little raw. I'm Michelle.
I'm Kirsty.
And every week we do a reading for ourselves to kind of understand what energies we can expect for the week. So while we have already laid these cards out and done all the legwork, if you'd like to watch that, that'll be a separate video. We are going to tell you what we discovered in this week's energies. So we're going to start out with Weasel, which, from what we dug out, seems to be telling us that we're running on subconscious patterning that is creating disorder within our lives.
Spawning into like spirals of negativity. Perhaps you're noticing in your life that you're repeating cycles that you really don't want to be repeating, but that you seem to continue to repeat. You're getting into the same relationships with different people, but it's the same thing, or anything like that you're noticing is oftentimes subconscious patterning, subconscious programs. And that's what Weasel's telling us this week, is that we need to be consciously aware that a lot of what is going wrong negatively in our life is coming from these patterns.
Yes. So then we have Otter, and Otter is telling us that with feminine energy expression, such as compassion, love, openness,
kindness, gentleness,
we can explore some of these underlying negative qualities that are running within our subconscious programming.
Because it's definitely important that you remember during this week that it takes a gentleness to look into things that are sometimes uncomfortable and ugly within ourselves. If we go at it with a hard, logical, masculine type energy, we usually cause more damage within ourselves. So it's better this week to take this approach as though whatever comes up, you look at it with compassion, kindness, and love towards yourself.
With that, you can go ahead and...
we have Kambaba Jasper, which is saying pretty much that if you're noticing that you're constantly operating in subconscious patterns, perhaps, like I said, you're spiraling in cycles and you just really feel helpless to do something about that, this is saying that one of the keys could potentially be going into your family line a little bit, maybe spending some time to meditate and see kind of where these patterns have continued throughout your family, because this card is saying that by looking into those lines, you'll begin to find the keys to unlocking this subconscious behavior so you can start to reprogram it. Also, we have Nirvana Quartz, which is saying that as you begin to look into this programming and see what it is that you want to reprogram within yourself, you need to take a view of enlightened love, as well as looking at it in a positive outlook. So instead of going, oh no, I'm doing this, this, and this, it's going to continually spiral the more you focus in on those things. You look at this and go, I am constantly thinking I'm not worth this, so I'm putting out that I'm not worth this. Instead, you begin to refocus in on what it is you do want to create in your life. If you're noticing that you're doing something you don't like, instead of focusing on, oh my gosh, how am I going to fix this, you begin to change it by thinking what it is you want to create. So and what we've spoke of and really feel like would be the best approach for this is to verbalize this, because inside of your head is usually what I would call maybe a subconscious enemy that operates in a voice that's very loud. I know for myself, I've spent many years fighting through this subconscious voice. And if I'm just thinking the positive thoughts, oftentimes the subconscious negative voice inside of my head is much louder than this positive whisper that I'm causing in my brain. So what I would do is to say verbalize this out loud. So if you're thinking, oh, this person's horrible and they always treat me bad, instead verbalize, I'm so grateful that people in my life treat me the way that I deserve. And you say it out loud, and you begin to change that which it is you don't like. But only by verbalizing the positive can you begin to reprogram the negative.
So with an idea of kindness to the self,
bringing harmony,
we would suggest, and at least we're going to do, three things twice a day. In the morning, we're going to say 3 nice things to ourselves.
In the mirror, looking at yourself, we suggest that, and this is what we're going to do, look at ourselves in the mirror and we say 3 things that we want and love about ourselves in the morning. So even if you don't feel this, because it's not necessary that you feel it, and most people won't feel this when they first start this. It's very hard, actually. So if you're struggling with this at first, it does not make you weird or unusual or anything. It's going to be very hard for us too.
It's very uncomfortable to stare at yourself in a mirror and say nice things, which, is a bizarre idea to think that it would be hard to be nice to yourself.
But often, especially if you have negative subconscious programming, which many people do, it's harder because what you're doing is you're uprooting that which has been set for so long and beginning to plant something new. So we suggest saying, and it can start out as anything. I love the fact that I'm going to be kind today to other people, or just finding 3 things that you really want to manifest in your life for that
And for
day.
some of us, even the act of, I'm really proud of you for getting out of bed today. Because some of us that suffer with depression and anxiety and different kinds of mental disorders, just the act of getting out of bed needs its proper acknowledgement.
You've got to begin by being the champion for yourself, because you can never have anybody else champion for you as much as you need yourself to be that champion. Because until you actually love yourself, you won't be able to receive love from somebody else. It's very true when they say you accept the love you think you deserve. If you believe you deserve bad, you will continually only get that which you think you deserve. So by starting to reprogram yourself, you begin to love yourself in the way that you deserve. And by starting, it's looking at yourself and giving yourself that love first thing in the morning.
So 3 things first thing in the morning. And then at night, get a notebook and write 3 things you're grateful for that you experienced that day.
And it can be anything. It could be, I'm grateful that I got out of bed today. I'm grateful that I took a shower. I'm grateful that I went to the doctor that I needed to go to. Because we definitely understand, in the middle of mental health crises, or even when you struggle with mental health on a day-to-day basis, as both of us do, we understand that it's not the big things in the long run, it's those small victories every day. And if you begin to acknowledge the small things that you've done, you'll begin to appreciate it and they'll begin to expound upon themselves.
So, in a synopsis, the coming week's energies is going to have a lot to do with being conscious of your reactions to what's going on around you.
Especially if it's negative. Because if it's a depressed reaction, anxious, fear, resentment, anger, anything like that, especially, take a moment and begin to, in that moment, as soon as you recognize it, verbally speak out loud what you want. Not what you feel, not what's going on, apart from circumstances. No, begin to speak so that you can begin to live what you do want. So if you're angry, you say, I'm so glad that I'm operating in compassion right now. You begin to change what it is that it's reacting negatively.
And then, at night, give thanks for what you've got. And in that process, the energies will work to help you become a better you.
And to begin to uproot and reprogram, recreate yourself in a way that you'll be glad that you did this later on.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Be sure to leave a comment and let us know how the energies affected you this week or how they didn't affect you. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.